Well, first of all, thank you very much, all of you, for being here. Obviously, there's a sense of multi-sense, let's say. By one side, the sense of responsibility of playing a final of a competition like this one is obviously a very important moment for everybody in the club, for the group, for the staff, for the group of coaches, for the group of players, for the management of the club, for the fans. So obviously there's a sense of responsibility regarding giving to all these people what they want, obviously, but at the same time there's a big sense of proudness, of happiness, of knowing that we made a long way until arriving in the final, and that we are among the two best teams in the season in the continent. But at the same time, as a third question, obviously there's a group of people that is more close to me. I speak about the players, of course, that understand that it's a moment that we live, that is a moment to do. And being a moment to do obliges me as a coach to give them as much tools as possible for them to have the chance to perform properly. We are speaking about the first game. First game is what we have ahead. Then whatever happens changes obviously the second half of this game. And this first half we need obviously to try to make it the best possible. And it's important that we understand the best strategy to play the game, how the opponent or what capacities they have in order to hurt us, and how to prevent it, and obviously how we can produce damage in the opponent, knowing them very well. We study them, we know them, we are passing that information for the players in the way we think is important to do, so that they can manage also the moments of the game. Obviously I expect two very difficult games. We had two very difficult games in the semi-finals, and like we had two very difficult games in the fourths of final. So the level of the teams is similar, different characteristics, but level of difficulty similar. But it's also up to us to think about ourselves. We know that we are a very strong team when we play with all the energy, all the desire, all the passion, all the quality, all the intention and intentionality, and that's what is important for us to arrive on this first half with that capacity.
Thank you very much, Coach. Shishi, just from your end, from a player's perspective, playing a big match this coming tomorrow, if you could just sum up your thoughts from a player's perspective ahead of the match, please.
Greeting to everyone. Obviously, tomorrow's game is very important for us as Masandawana family, and knowing for sure that finals are not easy, but I think us as a team we have prepared very well. I think it's not the first time meeting them. We meet them before, we know what we expect. I think this week we've been analyzing them, and I think the preparation are going well, and yeah.
Thank you, Themba. Colleagues, it's your opportunity to ask questions. Your name as well as your publication, please. We'll start with Kens here in the front.
As you said previously, I show a lot of emotion because I think I understand how important it is for the team to get the second star. I think this time is an opportunity to get the last star, and I think we have a team that is capable to do it. Yeah.
But what I meant with that expression when I said it is that everybody understands clearly that there was hard work to arrive where we are, and we know what we want. There's no other way to think about this final rather than thinking about finding making all the thoughts, all the analysis, take it to the limit in order to win it. the fact that we know how detailed these kind of competitions are, and that sometimes a little detail can turn the things one side or the other. As you were speaking about the Wydad match, I remember also, because I saw already that match, how detailed it was to fall for the other side. And that's why those feelings were inside Themba, because he felt that things could have been the other way. I don't know if you saw this week, there was a Europa League final between Manchester United and Tottenham. And in the press conference, there was a journalist that dared to ask the question like this to the coach of Tottenham. Do you feel that if you lose, you'll be a clown? This is what I think that is absolutely absurd, is that people judge the guy that loses that way. That's what I meant when I spoke about that. And then he won. So now he's not a clown, what he is. Is there such a thin line between being a clown and being the best coach in Africa? That is exactly what I meant when I have that kind of expression, is that people value the work that we do, whatever happens. Because we know how hard we're going to fight for this. And if we fight hard and the right way, we are much more close to succeed. But what we'll never be is clowns, because this team has been making a wonderful, fantastic season. And yesterday I was with my assistant coaches. Of course, we made a very good way on the CAF. As you know, we won to the first one on the ranking, to the second one on the ranking. So it's something. Okay, we are the third one, or we were the third one in that moment, that we won to Esperance and then we won to Ahly. But also we did a championship that's what we were yesterday speaking, because we have an historical Orlando Pirates, but we could be even more historical. This is something out of this world, what happened this season with this team, beating records over records when our most direct opponent was also beating their own records. This is fantastic what this group of boys did, absolutely fantastic. So I just want you to understand that thin line between being the best or the worst doesn't exist. There's no best or worst. There's two fantastic teams that arrived in this moment with hard work, a lot of intentionality and capacity. They will fight for the title, and details will make the difference. Let's hope we are able to put them on our side this time.
Thank you, Coach. Karau, I think you can. Colleagues, if I can ask, then we keep it to one question.
That thought doesn't exist exactly that way. You need to prepare a complete match, of course, and you prepare a match to win, not to lose. If you prepare a match not to lose, you're gonna lose it, believe me. So it's up to us. Obviously, we know what capacity we have. We want to win the match. Obviously, that we need to understand most of all how the opponent can hurt us and prevent that. So the other day I used an expression that I think is fantastic, is that the team should play and organize itself while playing. Because sometimes teams, when they are playing, they get disorganized. And in those moments, the opponent can hurt you a lot. And obviously that's what we need to do. So have the freedom and the mental freedom and the capacity to play permanently and involve everybody on the game. But at the same time, that everybody understands that regarding the way the ball is being played, we need to keep some organization that allows us to prevent, for example, a loss of the ball, how we behave when we lose the ball, how we behave when we need to organize ourselves to defend. But at the same time, when we are defending, we also need to, we can hurt the opponent as soon as we win the ball. So it's take these kind of thoughts to the limit in terms of positioning, managing spaces, closing and opening spaces, occupying spaces, and taking the ball on those spaces. And basically, that's how I see what you asked me.
Thank you, Coach. Okay, we'll take this one and then we'll come this side as well.
Good morning, colleagues. Good morning, Coach. Bongalim Team Kulu here from Theta FM. Coach, Mamelodi Sundowns are known for their ball-dominant style of play. Going into the final, are you going to keep the same style, or you're going to adjust looking at the strengths of the opponents that you'll be facing tomorrow?
Thank you very much. It's an interesting question. What I cannot deny is the work we have since the day one I came here. So the work we've been doing brought us to a certain place where we express ourselves. So the football we are playing comes from that work. It doesn't come from the style that came before, comes also from the history, also from the past, but from the moment we arrived until the moment where we are. So where we stand today is for sure the best place we've ever been. So that's what you have to take inside the pitch, what we have. But I understand your question has to do with the strategical approach on the match. Sometimes it's important to be clever enough to understand what kind of game you have to play. So there's always details on the match that we need to adjust considering the opponent. We will not run away from our identity, we will not run away from what we want, and we will not deny the work that the club has been doing and ourselves since we arrived here. So it's in the middle of all this that for sure we'll perform. The one thing you need to understand, for me the most important thing is that my players, they play with comfort. And playing with comfort has to do with respecting all these kind of things. But also you understood by what the players had been saying that we brought some capacity to be clever on these kind of matches. And also I want them to be clever when we play these kind of matches. And that's it.
Thank you, Coach. Let's have the mic here, Katlego, and then we'll go to Mr. Miller.
I think this group is, I can say it's better, but it's not the same because of the brotherhood that we have, the understanding, and I feel like everyone is a leader in this group. You don't have to put an umpire to be a leader, but everyone is a leader. You can see when we play, everyone gives instruction, we understand each other, and the love that we give as a team. I think what helps us is the communication. We communicate a lot as players in our changing room. We understand each other, and I think, and the love, most importantly, the love that we have amongst each other.
I pick the words from Themba, and because sometimes we try to separate what is the North African clubs and countries and what characteristics of football they have and the way they are, and us from the south. And obviously it's natural to do it because there's a cultural influence on the football that teams play, on the spirit and ambience, on the stadiums, on the culture itself and style of game. But also you should not forget that inside each club there's also some identity, some thing that comes from the past that makes that group different from the other ones. What I mean is, for sure, Esperance, where I was, has nothing to do with the pyramids, and pyramids has nothing to do with MC Alger, for example. So it's different for sure. What we know is that in this moment of the competition, the teams will play. We have an expression in Portuguese, with a knife on the throat, you know. It means with intensity, with a great will, great passion, fighting on the limit for each ball. The game will be different from the ones we've been playing. And this team is very intense. So we should expect that less time on the ball, quicker decisions, quicker reactions, capacity to take the game to the limit, because it will be like that. Both games will be like that. So it's important for us to understand it from the very first minute, because that intensity sometimes can be a shock when you start to play. But we are speaking also about experienced players that we have. So the level of experience that we have also makes us go to that level and cope with the challenges, because there will be a lot of challenges for sure during the match. I think the match will have different moments, and understanding how to play those moments can be key aspect on taking a result that gives us some comfort or advantage to the second half.
Thank you, Coach.
Yes, Coach, Belila here. It's interesting that you just touched on a question I wanted to ask, but maybe just more broadly on the opponent. What I noticed, especially in their game against
Yeah, there are different aspects in your question. The first one is obviously we know that in this level, and I think that in the CAF Champions League, as soon as you pass the group stage, the level is completely different, because then you face just the best ones, and the best ones are really good. So then it's just a matter of understanding the characteristics of the teams, because they are all good despite the way they perform and play, the style, the way they are, the meteorological conditions you face when you play away, how they strategically settle the matches. But the other question is obviously the tactical or the strategical approach that sometimes exists. Sometimes it's a bigger one. It means that you change more details. Some other times you change less because you feel the way you regularly see the things is more suitable for that match or not. Throughout the competition, we made several changes, but those changes never took us out of our comfort zone of the way we wanted to play. We also had to manage results. I think a competition like this is the way it should be played. You cannot go always the same way because the contexts are so different, and it's really different as the question that we received previously, so that we also need to understand how better to settle in each match in order to cope with the moment that we are living, let's say. And it's a work obviously that I have to do. Not take the matches, to make the matches strategical, but not take them so much on the strategical side that we get out of our comfort zone in order to play our football. Both in all aspects of the game, how we defend, how we attack. There must be a respect on the principles of the game that we work for so long. Because then the structure, some details on positioning, don't change that. We should keep the principles of the game that we have. And the principles of our game, they are more or less clear. I don't know if they are easy to control, but more or less clear they are. Then it's just a matter of how we will settle the pieces on the pitch in order to provide us the comfort to manage the different moments of the game. I think it's exactly that is on my mind, and that we've been working with the players during the week.
Colleagues, we'll take the last three questions.
The coach just updated our play. Because if you check now, we rotate the ball very well. We push them to one side and we switch the ball. We wait for the right moment to penetrate, and we have those runs up front. And I think our play make us happy as players, and we play with joy, with a smile. I think we enjoy as players.
Yeah, this is fantastic to hear, because you know how I feel about having pleasure when you play. And this team, if you speak about style or way of playing or heritage of something that comes from the past, that I know for sure, is the happiness that we have while we play. And I think that despite we're going to compete in the highest level, we should keep this joy. We should keep this joy so that we release all the tension and we go inside, because despite whatever happens, it's just a football match. I always say that it is just a football match. And I go back to that final that was played 2 days ago, and there was two coaches that had a very bad season on the championship, and they were making the things for their lives, let's say. But never any of them would be a clown, because there's a past on them, there's a past on their clubs. You can never speak about a Tottenham or a Manchester United or their coaches as failure guys at all. They are successful, very, very successful people. Just to be on that place, it means that they are very, very successful on life. And I have the privilege to, in this moment, also feel that way. And for sure, the coach of Pyramids should feel the same. For us to be playing a final of a CAF Champions League, for myself to be playing a second final of a CAF Champions League in 2 years, I should feel myself very proud and very successful. So I should be happy also. I should enjoy the moment. I should live it with pleasure, give all my intensity, all my joy, but feel that I'm already a winner. So now it's it's the ultimate prize that we can go for, and we're gonna go for it with all the energy we can. But it's exactly the sense of we are there, let's go now, that gives us the confidence to make our best, and that's how we should do. And I think that there's no favorites on this game. There's two teams that will try to build favoritism. That is another thing completely different. And we need to have that happiness, that sense of that the job is not done, but we've been a long way, and keep the last push so that we can get what everybody knows that a star gives, is the ultimate recognition among the best in the continent. And of course, that's what we want.
Take one last question. Go ahead.
Good morning, Coach. Paul from Soccer League. Coach, you've of course came out on numerous occasions about the fan turnaround, especially for CAF games like this. With tomorrow's game becoming a sold out, just how significant is that, looking at the crucial game that you guys are facing? And just lastly,
just one question, please. We are out of time.
Look, obviously that we would like to have a full stadium. We would like to celebrate. When I spoke about the victories we had before, that we didn't have a full stadium, like cheering, pushing us up. I hope and I see that eventually we're gonna get it, because we also need that energy that comes from outside. That's basically what our opponents get when we play away, mostly on the northern part of the continent. Yes, it's full stadiums, lots of energy. That exactly in the moments I spoke that the game has, because the game has different moments, they can lift us up, support us up, lift us up again. So keep pushing, because the people outside can give a lot of energy to these guys, a lot of energy. And a lot of energy they give puts the physical demand of the game even higher. There's studies on it. When there's crowd pushing, the players run more, make more intense, high-speed runnings. So it means that the game goes on a level that is more difficult to cope with. The players have to create on themselves the emotions that make them make the things that we know they are able to do in terms of quality of their football actions. So when I speak about having the people there, it's not only profiting from the spectacle that we are giving, because they do give wonderful spectacles of games of football for people, but also so that through that we can put ourselves in a higher standard, because there's a higher standard that we can achieve coming out from the people that really fills the stadium and puts a different level of energy. So I really hope we can have that. A lot of people enjoying, a lot of people profiting. It seems that there are also a lot of people that will not, because there are PSL games at the same time. But let's hope the ones that can see our match that really enjoy, and most of all the ones that want to go on the stadium, that go and that fill that stadium, so that we have a wonderful ambience.
Coach, thank you very much. Thank you very much for the time. That does bring us to the conclusion of this press conference.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
He didn't answer his question about being a teacher. He went to...
I was already, so I started working in the youth teams in FC Porto, and it's true, I was a sports physical education teacher in school, and then I also became a principal in school, because I had to make my life, and I was putting all together the different possibilities I had to get money for my life, of course. Look, most of all, my past makes me always remember where I came from. What is so beautiful is that you live where you are with a sense of simplicity that I have inside of me. Because my wife, she still is a sports physical education teacher. I know how her daily life is, and how much she gets out of that. So I remember all the people since I studied in university until now. I have a group on WhatsApp with my colleagues from university where we share with each other's successes. So I don't forget the past. I'm so proud about where I came from. And remember where you come from makes you being a human being, makes you be a simple person. Because in the moment we are there, and yesterday I went on dinner with my brother and my son that finally they came here. And my brother was with me on the pitch after the championship victory. And he was making some photos with my phone, and he was saying, you don't imagine how people love you. You don't imagine how much you did give joy to so many people. But I had an expression, I think you listened to it, that I would like to have been on the stands watching that party. Because it's exactly the pleasure that I see that people get that excites me on a daily basis. So knowing where you come from is very important because it makes you relate with what you are doing. But also gives me the stability to know that in the goods, on the hypes, on the lows, I'm the same person. And I've been on the lows also throughout my career. And it's not because I'm on a hype now that I will change myself. Totally, I understand that, going to the detail on your question, that having played in finals gives me some experience. But I played an Europa League final as an underdog with Braga against Porto after a fantastic road we did to the final. And we lost 1-0 in a match that was very equal. The detail made one goal. I remember the Youth League final under 19 against Chelsea with Esperance, with Shakhtar Donetsk. We made a nice game. They were much stronger than us. We were also underdogs. So being there for that team was something. It was the year of the war, 2015. So it was something like, what we are doing, we should not be here even in this. An affirmation of a group, of a club that under war could make a sports performance outstanding. Then we had last year final that we made a wonderful road until the final, also beating, as you know, Sundowns in the semi-final. And then the final was played on details. We had a decision that in that 2 minutes before the end of the match could have turned the game upside down and give us the trophy. Obviously that experience, all that gives me mostly energy to make better, to go a step further. But also I lost championships before, and now I have 2 in a row in 2 different beautiful countries, 2 fantastic clubs. So history doesn't come from the past, comes from what you do on a daily basis. So let's hope the work we've been doing together and it gets rewarded by a Champions League trophy. Thank you very much.
Okay. Yeah, I get it.
Sorry for the way